Okay, let's get right to it. Judgment. Judgment is exactly what it is. Either you are sitting in judgment or someone is sitting in judgment of you. And it's time to look at the big picture. Put the judgment away. We cannot grow from that place of judgment, blame, all those negative, lower energy things. But it does look like taking the high road on something. You have two kings surrounding this. So there may be a little issue, and it's feeling more like on the work level. So there may be some challenges for you on the work level in June, and there may be some jive that you need to speak up about. Judgment is the 20. It is close to the end of the deck. So it's really about taking the high road, not sitting in judgment, and really moving some energy, speaking your truth around what is happening. And it does feel like it is a work-related incident. What is crossing you is the High Priestess. So you may have entered into some new revelation space for yourself, Gemini. This may be, in the form of religion. It may be in the form of spirituality, or just living by the golden rule, just do unto others type of thing. But it does look like you have taken a big step up in doing things for yourself, looking at things more from a spiritual standpoint rather than the physical world standpoint. If you're hitting the same kind of lesson over and over and over with somebody else, different players in the game, it's time to switch up how you maneuver life a little bit. And it does look like, Gemini, you have made the switch, and now it's about trying how to float through all of the challenges that maybe in the past you dived right into. But this is feeling like you're supposed to pull your energy back a little bit, assess the situation, take the moral high ground, and find your spiritual balance around the challenges in life. But it does look like you have really embraced some changes, and I know that change has been in everybody's space. Air signs tend to resist those changes, but it does look like that you jumped right in. You're going to try something new, and you're taking the high road. You're also able to speak your piece a little bit more from an educated situation or an educated point of view, if you take the time to really see all the different aspects in the situation before you make a decision. So holding back a little bit, not having that reactionary type of energy when someone presents it. So just be with the problem for a minute before you act on it, and see what spirit unfolds for you. The King of Wands is here. The King of Swords is here. So it is about a moral high ground. King of Wands can be a very active time. That's a fire sign. That's activities, moving things out, taking the moral high ground, and creating some movement to all those thought patterns that you have, you sweet air signs. So take some of those great ideas and put them into the universe. The King of Wands is right here, so he's action. So he's action oriented. So it does look like some of those great ideas need to come from your head into the physical plane. And now it's ripe. It's ripe for planting those seeds and watching them grow. So if you want to make a change, either in work or your own personal life, can be even switching jobs, retiring, something to that effect. But it's time to choose you first and the betterment of you, versus maybe what I'm feeling is more like you've done things that are better for the corporation, better for the team. Now it's time to look out for number one. Take some of those ideas from your head, put them into the physical plane to better you in your life. The King of Swords is here. That can also mean cutting words. It's something in the past. So it does feel like maybe an authority figure that you got into a little tussle with. Again, this can be within your work space, or it can be in your personal space. So it can be someone like father, grandfather, somebody an authority figure to you that looks like you had a little biting words and a little disagreement on that, but ultimately it will help you grow. It is in the past position, so it does look like you're taking that little bit of food for thought is what's coming to me, a little food for thought, even though it was a bit tumultuous and on a disagreement level, but ultimately it will benefit you to further growth. What is in the present time is the Seven of Swords, and swords, they can be biting, they can be crosswords, they can be our fears. This feels like fear. It doesn't feel like, this can be fear of theft. It can be an actual theft. This feels more like sometimes your fears, Gemini, are getting in the way of your great accomplishments. Step through those fears and do it anyway. If you fail, you fail. But worrying about failing and doing nothing brings you to nothing. So I encourage you to take that stuff from your head, put it into the world. If it fails, it fails. And you can try a different direction. But don't let your fears stand in the way of your greatness, Gemini. And that's kind of been the theme for the last couple of years, just holding back on your greatness because something may happen. Well, it's time to push through the what if stuff and just do it. Five of Cups is right here. It does look like some sadness from the past is kind of seeping into your awareness. It does kind of feel like it is on the relationship space. So it can mean that you are either grieving a relationship that you have left, one from way in the past, remembering the good times, and wishing you had that intimacy. But it does look like this is the end of the cycle of grief for you that you have been in for a while, whether you're in relationship or not. There is some kind of grief from the past in relationship space, and that really doesn't have any place any place for you to grow from if you stay in that grief space. There are two cups right here in the back of this figure, so there are things to look forward to in the future, especially in the intimacy role, in the intimacy level, relationship space. But it's really time to let the grief go and walk into your greatness, because you have things waiting for you in the future for you to embrace. I know, Gemini, you spend a lot of time in your head, so if you can pick up some physical activity to move this energy a little faster, that would be great. But you were right on the tail end, and truly stepping into a new space in your life and opening up your heart. And even if you are in relationship, it does feel like you've been a little closed down in the heart space. So if you are in relationship, open that heart up. You can do it a little at a time and watch how either your partner or the potential partners, how they are more gravitated towards you because you're more open and willing to receive as well as give. So what is at the basis of all this is the 9, and the 9 is just, it's right before the 10. So you have been working really hard, Gemini, releasing a lot of things, and now it's time to plant those seeds to watch them grow. Take those big ideas and start planting those seeds. For some reason, the grapes are lighting up here. I'm going to ask Spirit what that is coming to me, that you have already planted some seeds and you are seeing the growth. Let that be the validation for you to plant some more seeds and continue on this journey of big change and choosing you first. You are enough, Gemini. And so plant those seeds for the betterment of your future. I know that you're a huge caretaker for everyone else. You also have a moral compass that is pretty high up there. So let that moral compass reflect what you would like to create in this world to make your life a little easier. This orange is lighting up. There's some orange. There's a lot of orange here lighting up for me, for you, Gemini. And that feels like the healing has begun. So continue that. Don't let the fear stop you from all this wonderful progress that you're having. And just move that energy out. Plant those seeds. The Ace of Pentacles, I like to call the Ace cards the God cards. This is, you're almost there. The light at the end of the tunnel right here, and it's not a train. You got to love that. So keep going. You've been hesitating to do the final thing that you need to do to make this big change. So, if you need to pray about it, if you need to write about it, whatever it takes to move that energy, but you are right there at the crossroads of some big change. Don't be afraid to step into the light of that change. And it does feel like you're being guided into doing this. So the quicker you make the choice to do it, the more easy the transition will be. Because if Spirit wants us on a certain path, Spirit does what needs to be done to get us on that path, and sometimes it's a bit destructive. So it looks like your path is pretty clear right now. Just take that step. This also looks like taking a step into the newness and into the unknown of things, and putting away a lot of the things that have become familiar and comfortable that maybe have not been that advantageous for you. So the Ace of Pentacles is here. Let that light the way. Have faith in yourself in the journey. And what is in the next card is the 6. Look at the number 6 of Pentacles. And Pentacles can mean money, can be motion. It's upside down, so this may take a little bit of investment of time, money, mental capacity. So it does look like this last bit before the change will maybe require a little bit more of your time and maybe a little bit more of your money that you had not allocated to this. So it just requires, balancing things from one column to another, putting it out there in the world, and don't look at the dollars and cents. Just keep the vision of how you want that to work. And usually the money is there if we keep the faith. So it is a bit of a challenge for you, but I know, Gemini, you enjoy a challenge. It doesn't mean much to you if there isn't a great challenge to overcome. So here we go. The final culmination card is the 8 of Cups. So it does look like you are being kind of not forced, but guided to make those changes and walk into the unknown. It can be very scary, especially if it has to do with money or a new job or a new relationship. But it's time to walk away from things that have been familiar and comfortable for you and to try something new. It does look like your frustration and your fear comes up every time you do try to make that first step, but that's okay to carry that fear and the frustration and to do it anyway. So make those changes while you can, because Spirit will come in and make those changes for us. The Lovers is on one side of this. So for many of you, it may be taking a chance on a new lover, taking a chance on dating, taking a chance on dating your current partner and mixing it up a little bit. Try a different position, Take your partner out for ice cream. Date again. Rekindle that flame that maybe has died down a little bit from familiarity. Try something new. Rekindle that passion. And for those of you that are not in a relationship, it looks like it's bubbling to the surface and you're getting the courage to either try again or to open your heart further. But it does look like you've been locked down a little bit in the heart space. So that is opening up. Love of yourself is also coming through, that you have found some ease and acceptance in your imperfectness and kind of not being so rigid on yourself and your own kind of self-proclaimed rules. You're being a little bit more fluid with what life is giving you, and just float a little bit and see what is offered to you. in the love space. What is on the other side of it is kind of the frustration and the fear coming to a culmination. This is the Nine of Swords. So you may be losing a little bit of sleep. You may be either getting too much sleep, not enough sleep. This also can stand for things bothering you on a physical level that are brought forth from stress. So it could be a little stomach upset. Sometimes when I have things that are laying heavy on my heart, my lower intestines are affected by that. Sometimes that can mean going too much, not going enough. So it looks like your whole elimination system may be affected by the stress. So release that. You know how to do it. The fear will always be there, but once you take that step into your greatness and see some movement and see some validation, the fear lessens and lessens and lessens. But this fear kind of holds you in suspended animation almost, and it is disrupting your sleep pattern and your eating pattern. So allow some of that to come out. Allow those changes. So that is a reading for June, sweet Gemini. I'd like to do a couple cards here for clarity. This is a huge stack, so it may be a little jacked up. But these are angel cards. I have not used them in a long time. They were gifted to me. Now let's take this one. The Queen of Fire for confidence, warmth, intelligence, and gracefulness. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself and assert your independence and creativity. So that kind of validates everything that's going on. Take a chance on yourself and fly. And the second card is the Eight of Air, an illusion of being trapped, a lack of self-confidence, and afraid to take that action. So it really looks like you are the only one standing in your way of the greatness with your fear and your lack of self-confidence. That is changing. I don't mean to point the finger, but it is what has held you back from your greatness for many, many years. So now it's time to put those insecurities down and do it anyway, Gemini.